Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to a very impromptu Thursday night session of Divine Femininity United. I am your girl, your host for tonight, Dr. Bianca Mz Bee Lee, and I'm here to have this very, very, very taboo, not talked about enough conversation. We've been here lately over the last couple years. We've been reading great books and all of those things. We've been talking spirituality and everything. But tonight we're gonna have some real conversation. And it is open to anybody and everybody who would like to join. If you want to give your comment inside of the comment area, the chat area, you feel free to do that. I will absolutely be reading and giving a sound to your voice. Okay. No person will be overlooked. Today is a good conversation that we need to have. Honestly, I don't think we have this conversation often enough. And the topic of that conversation is very plainly, who taught you how to be a woman? Who taught you? Who taught you how to be a woman? You know, who taught you how to be a woman? Skylar on Facebook says, good evening, mom. Good evening, daughter. Good evening. Good evening. Go ahead and share, you all. And I want to hear your feedback. I know oftentimes when we're having our gatherings here lately, we've been reading and I've been narrating. However, this is for everybody. This is for all the queens, all of the women that is here, whether young or old, it doesn't matter, because all of us, some way, somehow, we're taught how to be women, but what was the inspiration? And so just to kick it off, to define woman, right? Here lately in the mainstream media, I know you all, if you have not been following, then you must be under somebody's rock or whatever. Okay. But there has been a huge divide and discussion about biological women and trans women, and who's real and who's fake, and the cisgender woman and not wanting to be considered cis, and oh, it's a lot happening, a lot of distractions, you ask me, but it's a whole lot happening. Okay. Alrighty. So on Clubhouse, we're also, we're airing on Clubhouse too. We have someone who is desiring to come up on the stage. So hello, Shauna, how are you?
I am good. How are you? I love this topic.
Thank you. It's one that needed to happen, Shauna. Okay. It needed to happen. I think you knocked yourself back down. Hold on, let me bring you up.
Oh, no, I'm here. It doesn't say that.
Oh, gotcha. Clubhouse is so funny. Okay, so now tell me what's on your mind before we even get started. What made you raise your hand?
I just really want to. It got my wheels turning in my head. And, that is like a sore spot for me in my life, because in the transitional period of me growing up, the person who should have taught me how to be a woman wasn't around. And so all I had was outside influences, my friends' mothers, my dad, and my sister. Those were like my fundamental blocks of, me coming into womanhood, who were there to show me what that is supposed to look like, or how that's supposed to look like.
Right. That is very good, because that, honestly, I think all of us, all women, I think whatever you identify as, because even if you're a trans woman, guess what? You got your imagery of woman from somewhere. Hello, somebody. Because if not, who are you emulating right now? All right. There's someone of feminine energy that you got your inspiration and motivation from, and you're fashioning your very look today after this inspiration. So yes, whatever you identify as, feel free. Ask yourself this. Who taught me how to be a woman? Who taught me how to be a woman? And when I thought about that question just from myself, number one, I had to define woman. right? I had to define woman because in this life, we already know that there, we have gender, but see, very blindly, right? Hello, Nessa, welcome to Clubhouse. Very blindly, we have broken that gender down to just two genders, male and female, woman and man, not understanding that in so many cultures, so many other cultures, it's way more than just male and female. Guess what there's you have what is it, ambidextrous, I believe it is, where that's an individual that has both penis and vulva, right? You have what the Native Americans called two-spirited, or where they are both in one. So it's somewhere we were conditioned to believe, right, that all of this, that it should be a divide, male and female, okay, instead of just human, right? So that's the first level of division. Then when we were identified as two segregated groups, male and female, sidebar, just biologically speaking, all of us in our mothers, in a woman's womb, began as female, and then some of us who now identify as male transitioned into a male inside of your mother, Queen Mother's womb. Okay, so whether we like to identify it or acknowledge it or not, all of us are both male and female. Okay, there's an equal polarity inside of all of us, which is why we have certain entities and certain energies and certain abilities. And, that's why you can be such a burly man and still cry. That's why you can be the biggest avenger and superhero of all times and be made of steel, but you can still have a compassionate heart and love and all of those things. That is and same thing for women. That's why you can be very soft and very dainty and very fragile and very, all of those things, but you can still check somebody at the same time, right? You can still put your foot down and protect yourself and speak up for yourself. That is your masculine side, standing up, standing in place when it needs to. Okay. Nessa is coming up on Clubhouse. Hello, Nessa. Are you there? There you go. Hello, Nessa.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. What made you raise your hand? What are your thoughts?
It's because that topic is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about it?
My thoughts about the title is that when you learn something about like womanhood and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I've had to be like a woman. It's like a big responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're like a male that wants like to like transition into like a woman and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they have to go through that stage of transitioning, because transitioning is not easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because it takes 18 to 24 months, apparently, like almost 2 to 3 years, because you make that decision to be a woman.
And it's a psychological thing. It starts in your mind.
Yeah, it is.
And in your heart first before your body can follow after it.
Yeah, that is true, because you need to have like that mindset of making the right decision, of not making a mistake, because at the end of the day you might regret it.
You might regret it.
Yeah, you might regret it at the end, but you can't go back of how you were before.
Yeah. So it takes me back to the original question, though, Nessa, honestly, because the question being, who taught you how to be a woman? This, know that, and I'm asking that specific question for conversation's sake, but trust and believe that topic can be transitioned over into other areas. Like with the men, who taught, for a man, who taught you how to be a man? Who taught you everything that you know, that you stand on today, that you hold true and hold as gospel truth today? Who taught you that? And then when it comes down to the identifying of who taught you that, was it taught correctly, should be the follow-up question, because some of us are carrying around other people's blocked mindset in our being, and we're actually holding it as a gospel truth because such and such taught it to me, and I respect such and such, and they were guardian over me, so obviously what they said was right, until we grow up and we find out for ourselves. Even the Bible says you got to study to show yourself approved, which means that whatever somebody taught you before, it is likely, I don't care how educated and intellectual they appear to be, it is very likely that they gave you misinformation.
Yeah, because when you're like a kid and stuff, your parents, like, they teach you how to do like the right thing for your own good. Because when you're like a kid, then go to an adult, it's something different, but you still learn what your dad says and your mother says.
Absolutely. And we're taught to do that.
Because you were taught to do that when you're like a kid. Because if you're not taught to do that, you're gonna go in a bad path. You're gonna be lost of saying, "Oh, my parents didn't teach me that.
Right.
They didn't teach me this. They didn't teach me that."
You see what I'm saying?
Because a lot of teenagers of this generation are like lost.
Very.
Because their parents, they did teach how to be respectful to women, or how to, be nice and all those things. Cause it's very complicated to do that, but it's a parent's job to teach your child, children, to do like the right thing, to be respectful to women, to be yourself, and to be nice to others in public.
Let me jump in right there, Nessa. You just said something. Ooh, you said a lot of something too. You spin there, and I'm sitting up here like a giddy child trying to keep my composure. Okay, so with what you just stated, right? That all of the things that we were taught, and we were taught by our parents, and this, that, and the third, and we were taught that was the right thing to do, and listen to what I say and obey me, and if you don't, then you'll go down the wrong path, and this and then the third, and you'll get in trouble, you'll be on punishment. It was so much that was attached to it's either listen to me or else. It was always something on that else side, whether it was, punishment, whether you're going down a dark path or whatever the case. It was listen to me or else. That is what we were taught. Okay. So that was us being birthed into the world, into our families, into the traditions and the rules that they had set up already before we even entered into this realm. Okay. Now, but we were taught all of those things. So from day one, we were taught how to be what somebody else said for us to be. Period. From day one, we were taught to follow orders. From day one, we were not taught to be ourselves, because from day one, ourselves was put on the back burner or even muted. From day one, we weren't even allowed to display what ourselves could possibly even be, because immediately out of the womb, we were met with rules. Do this, do that, look like this, look like that, speak like this, speak like that, eat like this, dress like this, say like this, sing like this, do like that, go over here, go over there. That we were taught from day one how to be submissive. how to do what other people tell us to do, how not to identify with who we truly are. Because if that were the case, who we truly are would have been cultivated from day one and not made to be silenced. Be everything that I want you to be, not who you were born to be. That is the conditioning. But who taught our parents that way of thinking? That was because if you're a person of color and indigenous like my people were, then where my parents got it from was their parents, which their parents and those parents, which would be my great parents and my grandparents, great parents, and then our grandparents. All three of those generations were 9 times out of 10, sometimes 10 times out of 10, on someone's plantation and slavery field, being ruled by a master, being given the rules and the regulations of how to be, what to be, from the day our people were pulled into that circumstance. So that was conditioned with our great-grands. And then it passed down to their children. How to remain safe, how to be out of masses' way, how to not get in trouble, how to do this and listen to what I tell you because that's the right way to do it. And of course, our elders came up with these mindsets and with these rules because it was something that was necessary for that time. Emphasis on for that time. But each generation that came after that kind of loosened up a little bit, got a little bit better, but got better nonetheless, because we saw the lives that our elders had to live, and they fought and endured so that we don't have to go through a lot of things. So each generation got a little bit better because the generation prior to it made it a little bit better. But what each generation didn't change was the mindset to be up under someone and do as they tell you to do. That was the mindset that was not changed. Because still to this day, it may not be a direct order like, hey, Nessa, do this or else. No. It's subliminal now. It's very subliminal. It's called society. It's called television. Yeah. It's called music. It's called celebrity entertainment, Hollywood. That's what it's called. Those are the influencers right now. Those are the ones that are telling us what a woman is and what a man is. Those are the ones right now. Okay. Now, my original, who I am, who I was taught by, were the women that I was around. They were the women that I was around. Of course, I had my mom, my 2 aunts, on my mom's side, I'm speaking of, because that's the majority of the side that I was with all the time. Okay. My mother, my 2 aunts, my grandmother on my mom's side. And then they were the women, and I was the only granddaughter for a while. So I was definitely up under them 24/7. Okay. Now, namely my grandmother. But now, all of them taught me from where they were in life and from the experiences that they experienced in life. Now, don't get me wrong, because I have been able to carry out in life in some very beautiful ways because of what they instilled in me. So I'm grateful for that. But I will say that it was still limited because it was only based upon, I was being taught by them based on their life, their hurts, their pains, their joys, their victories, their experiences. So, because they can't, no one, is impossible to give someone more than what you have. They gave me what they had. Okay. Now, My question today is, okay, so if I were taught how to be a woman by these mainly 4 women, then I wonder who were their teachers and where did they get their lesson plans from? Because, you know, their mom experienced some things and their mom went through some situations, whatever the case. And I'm here to say that, yes, my grandmother, although she did amazingly in raising everybody, she also did it as a result of the scars that she endured. She raised her girls to protect themselves, to speak up for themselves, to not let a man run over them and bully them and this and the third. You know why she taught that? Because she had an experience of being ran over by men and beat by men and disrespected by men. So she was teaching from her place of hurt. She was teaching from her place of bitterness, from her place of sadness, from her place of being incomplete. So it, again, going back to, is it likely that what we were taught was either incomplete or was wrong? Because they only taught us from the place that they understood for themselves. But that don't mean that they had a right understanding. It just means that they had their understanding. That's the thing. And so when I sit back and I think about today, who taught me how to be a woman? I had to first identify, what is a woman? What is the definition of what a woman is? And in that, I came up with the understanding. Now, mind you, if anybody has anything else to say, raise your hand and come on up and add to. Because this is literally an impromptu, something that, you know, like it came across my eyes earlier this morning, and I said, this is a good conversation today, a good impromptu, something that won't throw off the schedule any other night or whatever the case. But yeah, so I thought about it and I was like, okay, a woman to me is one that has a womb, has a, you know, she has the ability to birth, to carry, to, you know, to feed by way of her breast. She has the ability to nurture and care and all of those things. She has those abilities. A woman is grace. A woman is abundance. A woman, why I say we're abundance, because we what you give to us, whatever you give to us, whatever the world by any form gives to us, we have the innate ability to multiply it and continue to produce from that thing. We have that ability. Ask your grandmama and them when they were short of money and they only had $10 and they made Thanksgiving out of $10. Okay? Because that is our ability. That is our natural ability. We don't even realize at times how strong we are until all we got is the need to be strong. Okay. And it carries us through. Some people buckle. Honestly, some men will buckle under that amount of pressure. So I had to identify what a woman was to me. Woman is beauty. Woman is grace. Woman is, you know, abundance. Woman is life. Woman is life. That's on period. Okay. Woman is portal. Woman is spirit. Woman is Shekinah, you know, woman is glory. Woman is home. woman is water, you know, woman is air. I honor woman. Okay. Miss Essence Evolved. Hello. I see you on the stage, ma'am.
Well, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, ma'am.
I was sitting in the audience. This is such a great topic because you're bringing out, you're causing one to think. I put it like that.
Yeah.
Not personalize it.
Yeah.
Causing me to think and also to reflect.
Yeah.
On who taught us how to be a woman. And the only models that I had were the women that was behind me, because that's who taught me and that's who taught them.
Sure.
You know, it's like the domino effect going backwards.
Right.
But it's like now in present tense, it's like who is still teaching us how to be a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's like this, we're trying to figure it out, because now, let's put it in real time, we're looking at so many different faces of what womanhood is, and womanhood is not. And I'm changing, because I'm looking at, and not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because our mothers and our ancestors, you know, taught us a lot of good, valuable principles.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking at now, it's like, who do I say I am as a woman?
That's
and
right.
What do I want to be as a woman?
Yeah.
So I'm really changing a whole lot of that narrative to fit what I want to be as a woman.
Yeah.
I get the point, you know, we're mothers, nurturers, and all of that. Well, that just came along with the territory of my gender, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and I am saying this, that I have so changed a whole lot as far as what I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Now I get to choose.
That's it.
Like it. It's what I like.
That's it.
So I want to say that, but this is such a good topic of discussion.
Thank you for your presence, and then thank you for your thoughts. Absolutely. That's amazing, because even in thinking about this, because I'm telling you, okay, so I got this in my spirit late last night, early this morning, and I sat and I had to ponder on that thing myself. And I was like, wait a minute, because this is why I'm bringing it to you all tonight and not earlier today, because I was still, you know, playing this thing in my own head for my own self, to the point where it made me answer the questions for myself, and it made me, you know, jot down thoughts and things like that, and journaling and whatnot. And I was like, man, thinking back, I'm going to go two places. One is the outer expression of who I am as a woman, and then the inner reflection and perspective of who I am as a woman, and who my instructors were. What were my instructors? Where, when was I instructed, and how was I instructed, you know, and how, and what it played out and what it garnered me in my life as a result of that teaching. Okay. So my outer, when it came down to this is before becoming aware of who I am. My outer reflection, my hair, let's start with my hair. It absolutely was based on what in mainstream was getting the attention. Okay. From a woman's standpoint, what hairstyle was garnering the most attention back then? You know, so let me create my hair like that. Let me keep myself, you know, looking like this with my hair, because I know that every time I see her with her hair like that, because it's a popular style, then it gets her attention. So let me do my hair like that. Right? All the time. Even today, we have, you know, women that does that very thing, which is why when you see a hairstyle once, you see it everywhere, because one person inspired another person who inspired another person, and so forth and so on. And then before long, we all looking like each other. Now, same thing with the makeup and the clothes and the this and the that and the third. If you were to look at your closet right now, or look at what you have on right now, ask yourself, where did that desire for that style come from? Who taught me that lace or sheer or satin was a woman's fabric? You know, who taught me that this was sexy on a woman or that was appealing on a woman? Who even taught me that, naturally my bones are big, my DNA is thick coming from mama and daddy's side? So who taught me, though, that was wrong and that I needed to be, as the song Bad Mama Jamma says, 24, what is it? 34, 20, 26, something with the measurements.
Yeah, 30, 34, 24, 36.
34, 24, 36. Who taught me, who told me that my thick size that I naturally am because of DNA was the wrong size and that I needed to be, 34, 24, 36? Who taught me that was the look that I needed to go for? And then, who repeated it over and over in my ear to where it prompted me to go and actually do that very thing? All of it is motivated by someone who taught me how to be who I am today. Who taught me this? It was not until I became aware of who I was, until I was even asked by Spirit this question: who are you? Do you know who you are? Because like I stated earlier, when we come out of the womb, y'all, we're being told what to do by way of rules and regulations. A child is to do this, you stay in a child place, you listen to a door, and go over here and sit down and be quiet and hush and go over there and speak and don't speak and play and don't play and go and cry and hush and all it. We're being completely programmed from day one. From day one. So we were never given the honest ability to even see what we were. And that's why, number one, I'm a sidebar it. That's why receiving a birth natal chart for your newborn baby is necessary. Because everybody want to say that, parenting don't come with a manual. It absolutely does. It is called your child's birth natal chart. Okay? Because that birth natal chart, based on the planetary placements, the exact minutes, seconds that your child was born, on the day and year they were born, and in the city and state they were born, where the exact points were. Where your child, because your child comes, there's no mistake under the I am. Okay, so your child, whether born quote unquote premature or not, your baby came when he or she was supposed to come, based on the trajectory of their reason for being birthed in this life. Their task, their journey is never a coincidence. It's always ordered. So when you have a new child, it is imperative, parents, to get your baby's birth natal chart reading, so that you can know how to parent them. Because if not, then your child is susceptible to being born and raised just like you, completely missing what path they're supposed to be on because of you. We already see you doing the stuff you doing ain't got you nowhere. Okay. Hello? I'm just saying, why on God's green earth would you duplicate that same process in your child? You know that you're stubborn. You know that you have issues with unforgiveness. You know that you have a drinking issue. You know that you are a drug addict. You know that you don't understand how to be in one place and not 2 and 3 and 4 places at a time. You don't understand how to be forgiving and how to be faithful. You don't understand what a good person is. You don't know how to be a good person. You ain't been a good person in many, many years. You talk to my mama crazy. She talking to you crazy. Listen. And you got the nerve to tell a child what to do. Interesting. Are you qualified to teach any lesson, sir, ma'am? This is why I also tell my clients, you need to heal before you start having children. Because if not, your child is going to have to heal from having you as a parent. Because you taught them from your unhealed self. They're raised with unhealed logic and understanding. And then they're going to make the same foolish mistakes that you made. You ever heard of a mom who had a child at the age of 16 and then they had the baby and that baby grew up and had a baby at 16 and then that baby had a baby and that baby grew up to have a baby at 15 and 16 years old? You ever heard of that? It's called a generational curse. It's called generational trauma. And if it's not healed in one person, on one generation, and you're teaching from that unhealed logic, it is guaranteed to duplicate and repeat itself in the next generation. And so forth and so on until somebody stops the abuse and the foolishness by healing. By healing. Right? And when you heal from all of this stuff, only then will you be able to find your way to yourself and understand and discover who you are for real. Because half of us are literally walking around this planet with no clue. We look good, because somebody over here taught us how to dress. We smell good because somebody over here taught us how to wash and clean and spray and all of that stuff. We're speaking good because somebody over here in the classroom taught us that it's best to speak like this. And, the only time you get attention is if you talk like this and all of that stuff. And then we got somebody over here who told us that, our skin should not be as dark. So they taught us how to bleach and how to tone over here. So we're going to bleach and tone over here because they taught us that if we bleach and tone and not be so dark, then we'll be able to, have doors open for us and this and then the third. All of that is what we're being taught. We're being taught these things. We're being taught that our wide waist is not nice enough. It's not pretty enough. It's not gonna get you the attention that you desire from whom you're attracted to. So go over here and get some of your ribs snatched out because God knows God gave you too many ribs, right? So there must have been a mistake. So let's go over here and have the surgeon to remove some of your ribs so your waist can appear smaller. Let's do that. Matter of fact, let's go even further and let's tell them to chop down your feet so that your feet can appear smaller so that you can seem like you are smaller in stature for the people that you're attracted to. Who taught you how to be a woman? Where did these dysfunctional ideals come from? And then to our younger generation. Not even before I even go there. Let's talk about the relationship piece, love piece. When we're talking about who taught us how to be a woman. Let's talk about the area of love and relationships. What were we taught by way of what we saw? We were taught to stay in stuff longer than what we're supposed to stay in there. Okay. We were taught to put up with some of the craziest stuff that we've ever witnessed amongst women. We were taught to know that he or she is doing us wrong, but stay there, forgive for 30 years, because eventually that person is going to get it right. We were taught, don't make them mad. I know they hit you and yes, they wrong. They apologize. Just don't make them mad no more. And we wonder why we're sad. These are the teachers now. These are the teachers. So if we duplicate it in our generation, come on now, y'all can't, you can't possibly be upset with me for making a wrong choice. I saw my mom and them make the same choice and they stayed. Why am I stupid now for staying? I saw how they did it. I saw that it might have taken 20 years for dad to get it right, but he eventually got it right? So that means that, I should stay because eventually they'll get it right? He might put hands on me. He might talk to me and call me out of my name, but mom did it, so I'm just doing what's right. What I was taught was right. Who's teaching you how to be a woman? Who's teaching you? Because I'm here to tell you, I know it's a revelation. I know it's a newfound discovery. But love does not hurt. I know. Love, y'all, don't hurt. Let me put another word in there. True love don't hurt. We down here was taught pseudo love. All right. True love doesn't hurt, because true love don't even understand the definition of the word hurt. True love never hurts. It never hurts, because true love will have you to see from an eyes of love, to treat a person with love. So if you're treating the person with proper love, then that means that we ain't even dealing with the idea of cheating at all. What is cheating? What is that? If we're really dealing with someone who understands true love. But first, in order for gravitating to someone who understands what the definition of true love is, we need to first understand the definition of what true love is, so that when we get anything less than true love, we know that that is not for us. But we don't seem to know the definition of what true love is, because we seemingly keep selecting the same underwhelming type of people, and we're waiting on true love to appear. If you become true love, then only true love can find you, because energy matches energy, which means if you are not attracting true love and you keep attracting the same type of person, then I wouldn't question the person. I would question the magnet that is me. Because in order for you to be magnetizing and having a gravitational pull towards a certain type of person, you have to be a certain type of person. And if you are a certain type of person, then somebody somewhere taught you how to be this certain type of person. Who taught you how to be a woman? Where are your teachers? Identify your teachers, and then go over the lesson plan again. We now, in our awareness, older and things like that, a lot of us can attest to some of the information that we gathered when we were younger, and how when we got older and we did our own study, we understood and realized that might have been some BS. That same logic goes across the board with every subject matter, whether it's a matter of mental, whether it's a matter of emotional, whether it's a matter of spiritual. There's a whole lot of spiritual debunking that's going on, okay? Whether it's a matter of sexual, whether it's a matter of inner child, whether it's a matter of adult life, adolescence life, creative spaces, all of that. No matter what the subject matter is, there is guaranteed to have been some miscommunication over the number of years. And so it's up to us to really do the due diligence for ourselves and find out, what is this? What am I walking in? You know, schizophrenia is a real thing. This is true. But what we don't talk about enough is that all of us suffer from it. Because inside of you right now is a gambit, a vast array of different people's personalities. Because that's nature. That's what took place from the time we were born. Multiple people inserting themselves and embedding them and burning their image and their personality on the walls of our brains. And we picked up a little piece of this person. We picked up a little bit of that. We got about a tenth of this person over there. It's a bunch of people swimming around inside of us. And in order for us to be able to really get to who the core of us are, we got to get through these people that we have adopted. We have to return them back to sender. We got to release them from us so that we can see who we are and stand in the authenticity of that. Whoever that is, however that person is. Because it's only you that can bring the you element to this universe. Otherwise, we're lacking. If we don't have you, your specific component, we as a whole are lacking, because you decided you want to look like somebody else's molecule and not your own. Going back to the generation today, who's teaching them, my God, social media, music, TV, all of that has the ear and the eyes of the young people today. There's an artist, something red. I don't know. I'm not interested in knowing her name, but something red. And she has a song where the chorus is, I'm out of town, thugging with my rounds, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown. That's music, first of all. That's music? That's what we're doing? That's the music we're listening to today? That is considered music. I'm just befuddled, okay? But then the lyrics. This is who's teaching your girls how to be a woman, okay? This is Lord. And then you got Ice Spice. You thought I was feeling you. That nigga munch. You thought I was feeling you. So what that says right there, that, oh, we don't do feelings over here. What is feelings? What is that? I come to get what I want and I'm out. You actually, what? You want me to consider you? Oh, no. Oh, we don't do that. Oh, you want me to, what you want? You want me to empathize with you? Oh, no, You thought I was feeling you? Feelings, we don't do feelings. That's what that song gives. Okay, hello, you all. That's what that song gives. And we're wondering why our girls, our daughters, are being so just cold-blooded. Because they're told how to be that. This is what's happening inside of the realm of Hollywood. Who has the baby's attention? Look back at who taught you how to be a woman. Let me see. In my time, let me see. I'm trying to see who the artists were in my time. Coming up. And see, I came up 80s. Okay, so we had folks like MC Lyte. We had Queen Latifah. We had, who else did we have around that time? Many others, but then we had a couple going into the 90s, which undoubtedly, argue with your mama, the 90s music has been hands down the best, okay? Hands down. Now, Star on Clubhouse says, I'm a part of this generation, and honestly, I have felt like I am having to turn cold just to not be so hurt by others. Everyone is cold. That is my point right there, Star. That is my point. That is a very valid feeling. Because it seemed like the younger the generation, the more detached from our heart space we are. Right? We're going into the mental space. We're going into the mind, how we can finagle, how can we scam, how can we play off of their emotions, how can we get what we want out of them and then toss them to the side. That's what's being glorified today. That's what's being glorified today to our young children. And it's unfortunate because a child grows up to be an adult. And something temporary, which this right here is it can be very temporary. But the only way that a temporary thing can turn permanent is if we don't handle it at the level of temporary. I'm telling you now, a hurt child becomes a hurt teenager becomes a hurt adult. And we're going to, and the system will be recycled, because that hurt adult will then start having more children, and that hurt adult will then start teaching the children how to be hurt children. Who's teaching us how to be women? Now, I talked about the external. Now let's get on to the internal. Who's teaching you who taught you how to be a woman? The women that taught me, literally each woman that taught me, felt betrayed by their former relationships. All of them, although they handled it with grace, each of them ended up being single mothers. Okay. Each of them having gone through pain and suffering, hurt, not being supported enough, having to go above and beyond, trying to be a single parent, but also trying to go to school, also trying to please your parents, also trying to get an education, also, you know what I'm saying? Lady Lotus on Clubhouse says, I agree. I always say broken children become wounded adults with unresolved trauma and avoidance of healing. Facts. Okay? Facts. And going back to the women, all of them that taught me, they taught me how to be very, very strong, very resilient, very focus driven, no matter what. But they also taught me, love them dearly, but they also taught me that I am not to rest, because I didn't see them resting. They taught me how not to rest. They taught me how to overwork, because I always saw them working. They taught me how to do it alone, because there was not enough times where I saw them being supported by a partner. It was 90% without a partner. So I did not see how it looked for a woman to be supported by a partner. Like collectively, I had one example of that, and I wasn't around them 24/7. So, you're going to go towards your most dominant influence. And mine was dominantly one woman, having to carry it all, having to make all the money. Okay. Having to figure out food, having to figure out transportation, having to figure out school, and then having to go to work, because, PTO wasn't really a thing back then at all. If you had to take off, that was a day's worth of pay you just weren't going to get. And back in those times, no single parent could afford to take off a day and not make that money, because they're single. They're having to do everything on their own. So the women that I was taught by, they had to push and they had to grind. I saw them barely have time for self. I saw them barely take care of self, barely, do self-care and all of that stuff. So that means that I was taught to barely do that, yeah. And mind you, here's the thing. I was taught to do that without a child in the world. Okay. But it was the teaching. So I was taught that a woman has to carry the household, period, pretty much. That's what I was taught. A woman is in control. A woman. That's what I was taught. And so I came up with that understanding. I saw the women be the only ones cooking as far as meals go. I saw the women being the only ones cleaning. I saw the women washing, doing domesticated things. That's what I saw. That's what taught me. And then I became that person. So again, remember, I wasn't taught how to rest, because I never saw them resting. Okay. My goodness. I also was taught, by way of watching them go through their hurt and their pain, I was taught to not respect them. You know what I'm saying? I was taught to be angry and bitter with them for as long as you could. Okay. I was taught to, again, not even see them as a necessity. I was taught not to trust them because they cheat, by way of the example that even they were teaching me, because if you think about it, our mindset of what a woman should be and all of that stuff, it did originate. Because naturally the Native Americans, Africans, our original people, they didn't have to be taught how to be a woman or a man. They naturally were doing woman and man stuff, right? Nature, right? It was only when we were, the transatlantic slavery trade came about, when all of the constructs, the men are here and women are there, and men do this and women do that. And that's when all of the division and the segregation and the divides or whatever came from. Gender roles. That's where that came from. Because there were no gender roles before. Okay. And they taught those slave owners, they taught from a mindset of who taught them. Right. And so when they taught what a woman should be, then we took it. When they were teaching what a man should be, because see, they were treating their women like trash. They were treating their women like trash, while meanwhile raping our women, and their women fully knew, but their women were also taught to be quiet and don't you say nothing. And who else picked up that trait? Our women. Just like our men picked up the abusing part, the abuse of women. Because once upon a time, our men didn't do that either. Our men honored and cherished our women, and vice versa. All of that division stuff that came when slavery came, because that's how we were taught how to treat our people. That's how we were taught. And unfortunately, once that lesson was taught to our people, it's unfortunate that it has not, that teaching is still going on and on and on. In fact, it's growing worse and worse and worse. It's growing worse and worse and worse, because the value of women in the mainstream media, the value of women in some homes, the value of women to ourselves has diminished like nobody's business. We are the least protected out here, especially Black women, women of color. We are the least protected out here. Meanwhile, we are the birthers. Life comes from us. It does. We are the ones that no matter how bad we are hurt, we still somehow find love and find a bit to be able to share to others, even through our tears and through our pain. We still somehow have a heart for the children and to feed people and to clothe people and to make sure people are okay, because that is our innate ability. Yeah. We have gone through some horrendous things, but that too is what we were taught, how to go through horrendous things and still find a smile, still find a hug for someone, still find a tear to shed for somebody, still find a prayer to pray for somebody, still find a meal to cook for somebody. We're taught how to do that too. My goodness. One thing I will say for me during this even topic, just thinking about this topic, I needed to reflect on that and really, write down what traits did I pick up in my learning how to be a woman? What scars did I pick up? What wounds did I end up having in my journey to define what a woman is? And then I had to create a list of what belongs to me and what doesn't. Whose definition of woman did I end up keeping and not returning to sender? Whose element of this, who does this belong to? Who does that belong to? Let me find the rightful owner and send it back so that I can get to me fully and completely, unapologetically and authentically. Star says, yes, there's been a lot of younger Black women, even older ones, that are throwing in the cape. I've seen many Black women speaking on that lately. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Advocating for a soft life because we tired. There's no simpler way to say that. We are tired. of being all we can be, okay? Of being all the things for everybody and none of the things for ourselves. We're tired. And not only being all the things for everybody and being none of the things to ourselves, but also being underappreciated by all of the things, by giving, after giving all of the things to all of the people. Underappreciated, name called, dismissed, overlooked, seen as only something to be groped on, raped, fondled, played with, and then at the end of the day, when they're done playing with us, they're done. It's all because we were taught that that was okay. We were taught that that was okay. And we accept it over and over and over. Don't get me wrong. Nowadays, we queens, honey, we are finding our voice. You better believe that. What did Joe Crack says, yesterday's price is not today's price. Okay, Fat Joe. He said yesterday's price is not today's price. Okay. Somebody else said it like this. You might have got away with it last week. Try me today. You might have got away with it last week. Try me today. Okay. That's when you know someone has found their voice. They're finding more and more of themselves. The more and more you identify with yourself, locate those intricacies on the inside of you by going within, asking yourself those questions, getting real answers, honest answers from self. You do understand that there's multiple yous on the inside of you. Your mental self is not the same as your emotional self. Your emotional self is not the same as your sexual self. Your sexual self is not the same as your spiritual self. Your spiritual self is not the same as your inner child. Your inner child is not the same as your higher self. And then you have your ancestors, and then you have the angelic forces around you, and then you have the I am. Come on now. There's a whole lot of beings you need to confer with. And then you, as the governor of all yourselves, you sit and you make a final decision, an educated decision based on everybody's feedback. And when you make that decision, it's a quality one, it's an educated one, and it's one that you know will keep you safe and protected from any outside things that you don't need to be associated with, feelings that you don't need to be feeling, words that should never have been said to you and can never touch you. It's that right there. The more we detach from the old teachings of once was, of yesterday, and we gravitate to what are the intricacies of us today. What is it even about yourself? What is it about you that you're holding on to that served you last year, but is no longer relevant for you today, that you need to be departing from? That's what it means to take that cape off and adopt that softer life. Because see, your 2 year ago self needed that cape. It needed that cape. Yep. Around that time, cape was necessary. Cape Crusader was necessary. But here we are 2 years later. We're away from that. We haven't seen that type of energy since we defeated that. And now you can look back at that. You can send gratitude to that season and say, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that season, because out of that season came much wisdom and understanding. I am so much better today than I was then. And I'm grateful to that season for showing me that. Had I not gone through that, I would have never gotten that understanding. But in me giving gratitude, I now return this cape to that season. I don't need you anymore. I love you. I thank you. But this is where I have to leave you. Because now I don't need to go in my future defensive. I don't need to go in my future being an avenger, fighting people off. Every time somebody come to me, I'm defended. I'm fighting, I'm swinging, I'm throwing bold. No, you don't need to fight anymore. Not in this season. In this season, you can be soft. In this season, you're covered. the more we do that, the more we confer with self, the more we understand what our now self needs. This is why it's imperative to live in the now. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow hasn't come. Right now is all you have. Live in the now. Live in the now. Embrace the you now. Give the you what you need now. When you do that, you grow more and more in love with yourself. You show more and more grace to self. You have more and more compassion for self. You get to know self so much better. So much better. And then you stand tall in self, in who you are. And you won't be susceptible to being mistaught, misinstructed, wrong information on what it means to be a woman. You know what it means to be a woman because you are a woman, period. And whatever your natural innate ability is, that's what it means to be a woman. That's what it means to be your woman, to be that woman, the woman that you were destined to be. Because my woman ain't gonna look like your woman. That was mistake number one, trying to make all women the same woman. That wasn't the purpose of us. Same thing with trying to make all men the same man. That's not the purpose of them. We all have a different set of fingerprints for a reason. That means we ain't supposed to be looking like each other. I don't want to be you. So stop teaching me how to be you. I want to be me. I have a desire to be me. That's it. That's all. I appreciate the you that you are. And keep doing that. You keep being you. And let me be me. And if I'm me and you're you, then the world gets a little bit of me and a little bit of you. That's beauty. That's abundance. That's abundance. Everybody being themselves. Because us being our unique selves is what this planet, this realm, this galaxy is asking for. Be yourself. Love yourself. Teach it. Allow your own self to teach you what it means to be your woman. The woman you're supposed to be. Not because, it's popular right now. And I saw this Balenciaga on Tiana Taylor and no. Listen. I think the only reason matter of fact, I know the only reason that those people and this is no hate against anybody's designer. It's overrated to me, okay? But the only reason that those people are even known and idolized the way that they are is because we give them the power. The reason that the single dollar bill has power is because we say it does. Because we idolize it like it does. We spin it like it's powerful. When at the end of the day, it's literally a piece of paper. Same thing with these designers. Some of us really, really, really will empty the bank account over a piece of fabric. It's fabric. It's fabric that, it's some of it is nice and whatever the case, but what if you learn how to sew? And then you tap into who you are as your individual self. And then you start sewing with your own intricate ideas. You start doing your own thing. Man, you would be one of one. Like Beyonce said in Renaissance. One of one. One of one. With your own style, looking like your own self, doing your own thing. And blessing us with all of that. All of that. I'm telling you now, I'm on my way. I'm definitely on my way. But I find that the more and more layers I pull back of me and I see more and more of who I am, it's like, I'm not trying to be like y'all. No disrespect. I love y'all, but I'm a little more cooler, okay? In my opinion, all right? I love this unveiling of me. The more aligned with me I am, the more I tap into who I am, my abilities, my powers, my magic. And then it's like, oh, the less and less this stuff outside of you can phase you. Honestly. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Who taught you how to be a woman? Who taught you how to be a man? Who taught you how to do that? And were your teachers credible? Did they have the proper credentials to teach these lessons? Because some of them who taught us how to be a man and who taught us how to be a woman should have been the janitor, okay? And definitely not in front of the classroom. Hello, somebody. So, because they didn't have the lessons for themselves. They hadn't gained the lesson that they're trying to teach. We got to understand that. I know some of us, we have stories that we can't help that. We can't help. We were raised in the lifestyle that we were raised in, and the rules and regulations and family that we were raised in. But at the same time, now that don't let tradition make you not gain the information that you need to gain or the authenticity that you need to gain. Don't let, well, that's just, my family, we just, because this is how we do it. Don't let that stop you from connecting with you. You, the only you that exists. You may look like your parents, but you absolutely are yourself. Find out who that is. Find out what that is. And be it. Be it. Allow your own self to teach you what it means to be you, whether male or female. Allow you, your original self, to teach you how to align with you. Those are the lessons that we need to understand. Okay. You all listen, this was my randomness here. Okay. This was my randomness. I had this was in my spirit last night, early morning. And I wanted to have this conversation to see what the vast majority, thought about it. Seriously. Again, we are airing live on Clubhouse, as well as Facebook, as well as YouTube. For those who missed it, if you didn't hear the full conversation, then feel free to visit the YouTube channel and you will be able to play it back, run it back. Star says, I think that a lot of ideals about what women are or should be originated from misogyny too. It did. Patriarchal understanding. Yes, it did. Absolutely. But that's why I went back to the slave trade, because that's what misogyny came from, the whole masters and the man is the head of this and head of that and all of that stuff. That's why when they rewrote the Bible and they took the Ankh, what is the original cross, and they perverted it and changed it into an actual cross. Well, the alterations of that Ankh was the removal of the womb. Okay. That Ankh meaning eternal life, everlasting life, creation, life. Okay. They took it and removed the womb, the very round part of the Ankh. Okay. And that is what took place. That was the beginning of it. See, before we were overtaken, our men never dismissed our women like that. Never. It wasn't our nature. It was not our nature. Nature, women honored women, honored the men, and men honored the women. That was nature. Because we resonated from a level of love and above, a frequency of love and above. That's it. We weren't introduced to all of the greed and hatred and jealousy and all of that other stuff until we were introduced to it. That's why if you understand this, and see now I'm about to go in another direction, but see, if you understand this, there was a reason why the slave owners were able to get close enough to overtake, because our people resonated with love. They saw everybody from a place of love. They would have never seen them as a people that was going to overtake them and enslave them. They would have never seen that, because that's not the view. Listen, only a maniac, only a what do you call it? Mass murderer. Only a mass murderer understands the mindset of a mass murderer. We weren't mass murderers. We were lovers. We were people who knew love and compassion and sharing and caring. Okay. And then we offered that, those invaluable gifts, those gifts that have no price. We offered those to the people, and they abused it. They mishandled it. And then they overtook us. They faked it, and then they overtook us. That's the only reason, that's the only way they got that close to do what they did. And unfortunately, once it was done, it only take a little while of routine. Practice makes better. Remember, it only take a little while of routine, of doing the same things over and over and over and over and over for you to get it down, and it becomes second nature. The more you do something, especially under the helm of somebody else, under the foot of somebody else, under the orders of somebody else, and you're taught to, from that moment, we were taught to do this, obey me or else. Obey me or else. Okay? And if you tried to buck that rule, then you knew what that or else might bring you. So before you know it, you will comply or die. And we had some thugs that did that too. Power to them, love to them. We had killmongers. We had a bunch of killmongers in our ancestral lineage. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. But when it came down to our people, that's what happened. That is where conditioning began. That is when the teaching started. That is who taught us how to be a woman. That's where it began, from the patriarchal standpoint, from the oppressor standpoint. They took that mindset and put it inside of the Bible, taught religion, and even in the religion, it cultivated and confirmed the foolishness that they were teaching us. So it's understood when the enslavers, when they made us understand it and when they made us get it, but then it was reinforced when they gave white Jesus the narrative speech and said, he said do it too. So that means you really got to do it, or else. What's the or else in the Bible? Hell, damnation, eternal damnation, or else. I really can go to a whole, I'm telling you now, I am so ready for that conversation at any given moment. Okay. Chamber is loaded always with that one. Okay. Seriously. Okay. So this whole mindset of who taught us how to be a woman, even in the Bible, it teaches what a woman is. It teaches what a woman is and what she's supposed to do. Proverbs 31 talk about it, and a lot of people want to quote that Proverbs 31 for sure. Proverbs 31 talk about, the woman being so graceful and beauty and this and then the third. She tends to her husband. She sends the children off. She makes food for them, rises up early, go to bed late. She does this and she does that. And she's a cooker. She's a baker. She's a candlestick maker. She's she runs the household, and then she sends everybody off to work and school. And what does she do? It don't even say in the Bible she gets rest. when the house is empty. No, Proverbs 31 continues to say, she then grabs her cloak and goes down to her job and does her and runs her office and her business and her things, and talk about her being in a marketplace and having handmaidens. So she got a staff and she got a whole business that she goes to. So she doing all of this and she doing that and going here and going there. Now she still got to work. And then she running the office and running the job and running the business. Then she leaves there and come back home. She get home before the family does, so she can get the cooking and be there for them when they get home and this and then the third. Listen, that's your Proverbs 31 woman. That same Bible said that when a woman has her menstrual cycle, she's diseased and to be and to be left alone. Don't even touch her. She's dirty. Yeah. It also said that women need to be submissive. Submissive for what? All right. Why? When all we're doing is being ourselves. What is so threatening about us being ourselves? Why do you need to be seen as the ruler? Why do you need to be acknowledged as my head? What is that about? That's ego. I can really have this conversation. People, let me tell you something. Just don't come around here with tissue paper feelings if you want to have that conversation, okay? Because I'm here to speak facts and no fictions, and I'm not here to play patty cake with nobody about this dialogue at all. Hey, I come in peace. But I will have you leave it in pieces if you try with this conversation, okay? Because religious mindsets and viewpoints will try to justify all of the stuff. They will try it. When I tell you that conditioning runs deep over there. Trust. I was born and raised in it. Again, born in conditioning. It runs deep. But the way my thug and gangster is set up, I'm here for it. What's up? What set you claiming? Because I got mine. What color is your rag? Your bandana. I'm ready for it, okay? Because it needs to be talked about. For far too long, I'm telling you, for far too long, this misunderstanding has been shared. This religion, that religion is the newest of all religions. There is over 400, 500 different religions worldwide. But for some reason, everybody's religion is the only true one, right? Hilarious. Not understanding that they all point to the same one source. I'm just saying. They're all saying the same thing. I'm just saying. But okay. All right. Far be it for me to tell the people what to follow. Okay. Hey, whatever. I'm just here for me. Okay. Let me just get to me. And so I can get to the mission and purpose completely. So I can get home. How about that? Can we go home? Somebody, please. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. That's when we allow ourselves to become distracted. We are so easily distracted. So easily distracted. You're not going to catch me watching the news. I couldn't tell you what's going on. I'm going to tell you now. Don't bring me to Jeopardy and they're asking questions about current events. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I can tell you the event that's most current to me, and that is what I ate for breakfast this morning. That is the current event that I have for you. Back to you, Alex. Okay. Seriously. Nope. I have nothing for you. I am not that. I'm not the one. I don't know. The media is set to tell you what the vision is. Tell a vision. Okay? That is the whole purpose of media. Is to tell you how to think. It's to tell you what thought to have. It's to give you the fear, because we understand as we're reading on Sundays and Tuesdays. This is why I had an impromptu session on Thursday. So not to interrupt our reading sessions on Sundays and Tuesdays. We're learning right now the secret. The secret is this. We are energy magnets. And whatever your thoughts dwell on for a long period of time, you are sending that signal and frequency to the universe for the universe to send it back to you in matter, in material, in actual tangible things. So if the media has your attention and is putting these fears in your mind and in your heart, then you're going to feel and have that, you're going to feel the effects of fear just by thinking constantly on fear, not enough, sick, food, inflation, all of this stuff, that's all you're hearing constantly, over, climate control, heat index, stock market, Trump, court, government, federal, you just hearing all of this stuff day in, day out, First thing in the morning at that. First thing in the morning, when your whole spirit and your mindset and your everything is open and vulnerable, first thing in the morning, you turn on the news and you're feeding yourself this stuff and you are pondering it. And then what you do, you get in the car and you turn the radio on so that it can reinforce this stuff. Reinforce it and get you talking about a debate that the trans women are having with black women, and then you turn the station and it's another debate about white people and black people, and then you turn the station and it's another debate about the government and student loan forgiveness, and then you turn the station and it's another one about aliens and CIA reports, and you turn. Come on. You do realize that you control the power switch on that radio station and those frequencies, correct? You do know that you are the controller. You are the one that controls what station and frequency you are tuned into. You control what enters your being. You do. And if you are tired of being in fear day in and day out, shut off fear. And it won't be able to plant seeds of fear in you. And you won't draw fear to you as a result of the frequency and signal that you're tapped into. Change the frequency. You'll change what you see in your life. If you start to fear, think of something else, something positive, something new, something happy, something loving. That's what you think on. Change the frequency. Change the frequency. We are in school daily. We're always constantly learning what to do, how to be, where to go, what to focus on, what to buy, what to sell. What group to jump into over here, who to become over here, who to follow, social media, reality TV, what to buy. Somebody is always enticing us on a subliminal message. And, at late night, we see Taco Bell commercials and Burger King and In-N-Out and all of that stuff. So, oh man, all of a sudden I'm hungry. Oh, I have a craving. You don't have a craving. You were just given a lesson. Somebody just taught you that it is good to eat this stuff this late at night. So now they've embedded a thought into your brain and played it out for about a minute, 30 seconds. That's how long a commercial might run. Because they know anything less than that, you might forget what we're trying to program in you. As soon as that commercial is over, they're gonna double down on it and give another commercial behind it. All of a sudden, now your stomach growling. Now you want to buy something. Now you're watching what is it? What's the Fashion Nova commercial? And then all of a sudden you see something cute or you see something on sale, 90% off, 100% off, 99.9% off. You're gonna go to the website right there on your phone. They know how to get you. You know why? Because you keep showing them that that's the same way. That's how to get you. You want to change what you're being taught. Change what the frequency you're tuning into. Change it. Change it. You're tired of crying? Change that. Stop listening to things and watching things that constantly tug at you crying or remind you of what makes you cry. Some of this stuff you would think it'd be common sense, honestly. But even I, yes, I'm speaking to me too, trust. Even I have to be reminded sometimes. Who are we allowing to teach us? Who's your teacher? What's your teacher? How long have you been taking this study? And some of us need to drop out. Some of us just need to be absolute dropouts. Some of us need to return those textbooks back to the library and get some money back. Give it back. Send that back. Some things are good to have, but that's up to you to decipher. It's up to you you got to take inventory of what you got on the inside of you, who you have on the inside of you. Where did you get it from? That's what it is. We gotta handle ourselves with care, y'all. We are very reckless out here in these streets with our being, with ourselves. The greater you are to you, the better you can be for the world, the better you can be and show up for your home, for your family, your children, for your job, for your clients, for whoever. Just the better you would be in the world, the better you are to you. The better you are to you. And I promise you, you will come to know, because a lot of people don't really know what to focus on, because you got to really do a deep dive inside of yourself. But I will say this, the best way to figure out and find out, because it's going to be a change and growth, and healing is continual. I'm going to tell you now, you'll never stop doing it. But the more you do it, the more you take the strides to do it, the more the inner yous will trust you enough to reveal more and more of where they hurt. The more you prove yourself trustworthy to yourself, the more yourself will be trusting of you and reveal more and more of places where you hurt, places where you were sad, places where you hold near and dear because it's a beautiful memory and you don't want anything to tarnish that. Places where you are angry, places where you are the most happy, places where you just need a hug. Your inner beings will reveal to you more and more of what it needs from you. But you got to give yourself that attention first before you can show up in those ways for anybody else. You cannot teach something that you have yet to understand for yourself, which is why we're here today, because we were taught by people who didn't understand the stuff they were teaching us in the first place for themselves. Study you, learn you, get to your manual. I talked about this earlier. Our manual is our birth natal chart reading. Get to your manual and understand who you were created and fashioned and formed and birthed and are breathing right now for. That's where you start. Because that manual is going to give you straight, no chaser, cut and dry based on all your placements. Yep, down to the minute you were born. Yep. Yes, it will. Yes, and I absolutely do them. Absolutely. Trust. I give a whole dissertation. You'll have about 30 pages of breakdown from fooling with me. Because you need to know. You need to know who you are so that you know what to get back to. How would you ever know if you have arrived to where you need to arrive to if then nobody give you a landmark to look for? Hello? No one gave you directions or nothing. You just walking, wandering, hoping to run up on it. No, you got to first know what you're looking for first. Even down to the GPS 101. It's not going to give you a route until it knows where you're going. Period. So get your manual. Get it if you don't have it. And then encourage others to do that too, whether they get it from me or anybody. There's many people are gifted in doing readings, but get yours and encourage others to get theirs so that they can know where to begin, okay? Or where they're going. Star said, I was just thinking about rereading mine. Yes. I was thinking about my North Node today. Yes. Because that's really where your focus should be right now, your North. But I can guarantee you, you're probably operating from your South a lot, because that's mastered abilities. Those are mastered traits, mastered personality, you know, all of that. All of that. So yeah, do that. We don't listen, you all, for those who are familiar with your birth natal chart, don't just get the thing and just read it over and say, oh man, that's true. Man, that was good. And then put it away on the bookshelf or something. No. Refer to that often. If you feel yourself, you know, in a mood over something or whatever the case, and you see, you know that you're probably tripping, you know you're probably overdoing it or whatever the case, and then by the time you get to where your birth natal chart is, pull it out again and look at why you were tripping the way you were, and look at what you need to do to pull yourself out of that. Okay? Because your natal chart will tell you exactly what areas in your life you're going to have struggles, where you're going to have victories, where you're not going to need to learn nothing. It's already innately in you. What you need to focus on, where you need to be working. Hello, because some of y'all in the wrong place of employment and you're struggling and you're mad. You got to count to 20 forward and backwards before you walk in the door, before you get out the car. You know, that's crazy, because you need to be where you're supposed to be in this life. All right. And your natal chart will tell you that. All right, you all, I have a class to take in about 20 minutes, and I'm going to give myself some water, get myself in the right headspace to focus in this class. I'm at a 4.0. She's good at that, and I'm going to stay there. Hello, somebody. So I just wanted to have this impromptu conversation because it was very necessary. It was on me. It's been on me for over 24 hours now. And I typically was going to hold it in and just kind of do my own reflecting and things like that. But I felt we all need to do that reflection. I felt we all need to. Okay. You're welcome, Star. Thank you so very much. I appreciate everyone who came in. I appreciate everyone who's going to be listening on the replay. Thank you for joining me here again. Impromptu. We don't usually meet on Thursdays, but we do indeed meet on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, we are collectively reading through the book written by Rhonda Byrne called The Secret. Let me tell y'all something. We just finished chapter 2. Sunday, we're going to chapter 3. You do not want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Also, all books that we're reading, any book from past, present, or future that we read through is available in PDF form for only $5. It's just a seed that you sow, exchanging energy for energy. Okay, that's it. That's all. But I do want you to have the books and follow along so that you can do the work, whether we are meeting and in session or not. Okay. Alrighty, you all. Listen, if you're not following me on any other platform, on Clubhouse, it's in my bio. On the videos, Facebook and YouTube, it is also in the captions below. You all, listen, I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it. We'll be back here on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Divine Femininity United. Peace. Thank you.